Can Nigerians still build homes with this current price of cement? Because if you are building a house in Nigeria today, there is one question you may be asking yourself. How many more bags of cement can you actually afford? The reality is, why Nigerians are paying 15,000 naira for 50 kg of cement, the government is now asking an uncomfortable question. Why is cement cheaper in other countries like Kenya, Tanzania and Togo? And that question couldn't even reveal why building a house in Nigeria has become so expensive. So let's look at what is really happening. As of today, 50 kg of cement in Nigeria costs about 13,000 to 15,000 naira, despite the high deposit of limestone in Nigeria. Here's the problem. In January 2026 this year, cement price was between 9,300 to 9,700, and it suddenly jumped to 10,500 naira to 13,000 naira by mid-year. The question is, if you already budgeted for a housing project, will you be able to complete it? Because if care is not taken, a common Nigerian trying to build a house might not even complete it until it passes to glory. So imagine you are trying to deck your house and your contractor tells you that you need another 300 bags of cement at 15,000 naira per bag. That's about 4.5 million naira. That is different from what you have budgeted before. And the purchasing power in Nigeria doesn't increase. Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. There are many housing projects that started with big plans, and later you begin to wonder if that owner is still alive. But here's where the story gets interesting. The Nigerian government has been comparing our cement price with other African countries, and Nigeria doesn't look cheap at all. Kenya's population is about 58.6 million, and their cement demand is between 9.3 million metric tons in 2025, and they have limestone deposit. Their current cement price is approximately $5.4. That is, Naira equivalent is about 7,344 Naira. And Tanzania, their population is 66.3 million. They also have limestone deposit like Nigeria and Kenya. They sell their cement at the rate of $4.8, which is Naira equivalent 6,520 Naira. This one will shock you. Togo doesn't have limestone deposit, but they sell their cement for $6.75, approximately 9,180 Naira in Naira equivalent. But Nigeria sell their own cement between 13,000 Naira to 15,000 Naira. The question here is, why is Nigerian cement more expensive? Dangote and some manufacturers blame it on legitimate high costs in Nigerian operating environment. They also push it on energy, logistics, transport, foreign exchange and import, taxes, levies and all. But Nigerians are asking questions about the market structure. They are saying, is this structure favorable to the masses? And here's what nobody wants to explain. They refuse to tell us how highly oligopoly system the market is concentrated. Just three major players are involved: Dangote Cement, Boa Cement, and 8BM, which was formerly Lafarge Africa, controls it. Almost 90% of installed capacity. As for Dangote, Dangote has the largest share of about 50 to 64%. That didn't tell us that this will create conditions for price leadership rather than aggressive price competition. So if there is more competition, do you think the price will be this high? The elevated margins by Nigerian producers are part of what they didn't tell us. It is higher than many North Americans, Europeans, Asians, and other African peers. About 30 to 40% operating of EBITDA style margin was posted by Nigerian producers, which is very high. So upon all these high margins, why is the surplus capacity not affecting price? That leads us to how you are going to find out why it is difficult for you to complete your house project. Nigerian cement production capacity is far exceeding demand, yet prices rose. But if production capacity explains the difference, why is the gap so large? Aside all this I've mentioned, I discovered the export-domestic price gap doesn't even favor Nigerians. Manufacturers concentrate on the ability to sell properly at lower prices abroad, while maintaining high price domestically. This raises questions from critics about whether domestic prices fully reflect competitive cost plus pricing. So who is paying and who is benefiting? Or is there something else they didn't tell us? Let me be honest with you. Don't celebrate yet if you heard FCCPC is investigating why Nigerian cement price is higher than other peers. Because the government isn't saying the cement companies have been found guilty of manipulating prices. The FCCPC is only investigating whether manipulation may be taking place. So whether this investigation will end in silence as usual, nobody knows. Now, We've just explained what manufacturers are saying. But the biggest is about Aliko Dangote's statement. In May 2025, he made a shocking revelation at the Taraba International Investment Summit. Dangote said, and I quote, "I'm sure it might be shocking to you to know that the federal government of Nigeria, not even the state, makes more money, for example, our cement business. For every 1 naira we turn around, 52 kobo goes to the federal government of Nigeria." Because Branchard is not here to make verdict. So, let's be fair and let others speak. What does the government say is responsible? And here's the major twist. The government acknowledges that the energy, logistics, and foreign exchange create real cost pressure. But both the FCCPC and the Works Ministry clearly signal that this does not fully explain why Nigerian consumers should pay significantly more than in comparable African markets, especially given surplus capacity. The government also emphasized on manufacturers needing to lower prices and on potential market structure problem. The question here is, what is the FCCPC price manipulation findings? And here's what we found. On 18 August 2026, the Federal Government and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, publicly released the preliminary result of their investigation. The finding comes from 3-month cross-border study conducted by Anti-Competitive Practice Department, and it contains 40 pages report. But here's the core findings. The FCCPC stated that the preliminary findings suggested possible manipulation of prices of cement in Nigeria. Although this is not a final determination of guilt, the commission emphasized that the investigation is ongoing and that the business are entitled to make legitimate commercial decisions and earn returns. But they tried to give confidence. They said the parliamentary evidence was strong enough to formally continue the probe and issue legal notices. So their next step is PFCCPC will issue notice of commencement of investigation. 2. That the manufacturers to produce documents. But if production costs explain the difference, why is the gap so large? And what does this mean to ordinary Nigerians? First, the brutal truth is cement price is expensive right now and nothing has changed overnight. Building or completing a house is significantly more expensive and almost impossible. Even block moulders, small builders and artisans are lamenting. The most painful one is that rent and house prices continue to rise because the developers passes on the high cost of cement on them. The government road and house projects also cost more, which affect how many projects they get finished before one tenure goes and another comes in. Secondly, there's now a real hope that price could come down if the investigation does not end in silence as usual. So what should you realistically expect? In the next few weeks or months, prices may crash immediately because companies are still reviewing their prices and responding to FCCPC summon. And if the FCCPC find wrongdoings and take strong actions, we could see meaningful price reduction, possibly take back from 8,000 to 11,000 naira range or lower. Anything like that don't happen for Nigeria before. But this is the most painful truth. There is no guarantee. If the companies successfully prove that the energy, logistic, taxes, and foreign exchange fully justify their current prices, then price may just remain high and nothing will change. The bottom line is that Nigeria is not short of cement factories. So why are Nigerians still paying so much for cement? Is competition working? Are the production costs genuinely that high? Is distribution the problem? Is government policy contributing? Is the market being manipulated? As for now, there is no clear answer to all these questions. And this situation brings us to what we're about to ask. Can Nigerians still build homes with cement price now? For people with enough money, yes. But for the average Nigerians already struggling with food, rent, transportation, and every 1,000 naira added to the bag of cement makes owning the house even further out of reach. Then the bigger question is, if Nigerians can produce cement at scale, but Nigerians are still paying more than others in African countries, then this is no longer about how much does cement cost. The question is, who benefits from that difference? We've seen several Nigerians planning to build house and postpone the project because of cement price. There are more uncompleted buildings than finished buildings. It's everywhere. Now let me ask you this honest question. If the investigation reveals that Dangote's claim on how much the government gets big cut on cement, is actually the burden. Will the federal government allow the price of cement come down? Let me know in the comments. And if you want us to keep following where Nigerians' money goes and how government decisions eat your pocket, subscribe to Branchard Media. I'll see you in the next one.